Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Broadcasting around the world.
Well, hello.
This is your number one internet radio station.
Here's my story, it's sad but true. It's about a girl that I once knew.
She took my love, then ran around with every single guy in town. Come on now, hey, hey, whoa. You know, one day, Zoe, you'll join in with this. We're going to do it next week. Nah. Hey, hey.
I've joined in with you a few times.
Hey. Oh, good evening.
I like to
Welcome.
leave it to you.
Welcome to Smile Radio. We're back on the whistle with myself and Zoe. We're on Facebook Live as well, touch wood. We have no complications and no issues with that. If you can tune in, interact with us all evening. We've got loads of talking points to go through. There's lots happening in the world of rugby league. The 5 Man of Steel, well, the shortlist been announced with the 5 guys. We'll discuss all those in detail, I'm sure. I'm sure we've both got his opinions on that. The playoffs get underway tomorrow night. London, they lost the relegation battle at the weekend, and it's a shame to see London go down. We'll discuss that game as well. Tell you what, I want to touch up on Sunday night. Featherstone Rovers, the underdogs, magnificent away at Leigh. Took them to the cleaners. Are they the biggest threat to Toronto at this stage? I'd probably say yes. So we'll talk all about the championship. We'll talk all about the Super League, the battle for the grand final trophy, and a little bit of football as well. The Champions League is back underway. Disappointing start for Man City, for Chelsea and Liverpool yesterday, but Man City and Spurs are in action tonight. Zoe,
Hello.
how are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm refreshed. Revitalised. Rejuvenated. That's what I was trying to say.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so
were yawning earlier.
after a stressful... Yeah, I was a bit tired earlier. After a stressful couple of months with work or whatever, you'll not knowing where we're going to be and what we're happening, it was good to get that win on Friday.
Squeaky bum time, wasn't it?
So everything's been a bit more relaxed this week, and we're just about to get to that stage now where we're announcing 2020 signings and new players. So there'll be some announcements in due course. So it's all positive, looking ahead to a good season. And you know what, we'll start with what unravelled at the weekend, and we'll start with the game that we were at. We'll start with Wakefield against London. Wakefield, they just never really got out of third gear for me and still countered to that win. And they played the big game. Our big game should be played. You know, Brough and Miller controlled it with a kicking game from there. And the forward pack did the hard yards as well. So Wakefield deserved that win. But for London, it's a shame that they're the team that's been relegated, because for me, they've been accredited Super League in 2019.
Yeah, I was reading somewhere earlier today that they're the best performing team to go down in Super League. So, I mean, they were 20 points, and usually that'd be enough to stay up. But yeah, unfortunately, I think they deserve to stay up after the season that they've had. But somebody had to go down, and like you said, I mean, before the game, Wakefield fans were rightly nervous. London have played so well all season, and they've come up trumps in big games, and they've beaten Wakefield twice already on their own patch. So it was a bit nerve-wracking going into the game, but as soon as that, from the first whistle, Wakefield just never looked like losing it. And then they got into an unassailable lead and then scored that drop goal as well. So it was a great performance from Wakefield. And like you said, they didn't have to get out of third gear.
Yeah.
But my concern is that I know that they can, that they can play like that, and they did play in the big game when it mattered. But why haven't they been playing like that all season?
Yeah, well, I think there's numerous factors, and I'm not going to... they have missed a lot of the key players all
Oh
year.
no, I know that, but
They've got a couple of players that they brought in late, Tangata, Tanginoa, who've added a real different dimension to the forward pack. Add Chris Green into that as well.
oh no,
So
yeah,
they've
I
got-
understand that, but for me, they've had a few players back from injury for a lot of the season, and I know you've got the likes of Tom Johnston and Tini Raurona who have season-long injuries, but players were coming back throughout the season, so Wakefield know that they can play like that, so it shouldn't have taken them until the last. It shouldn't have. It shouldn't have boiled down to that last game.
I think for me, I think for the last 4 or 5 weeks, Wakefield were playing well and they came unlucky in some games.
Yeah.
Of course, they got that easy win at OKR and were really unlucky against Wigan and Warrington to not come away with wins in that one. I think the unfortunate thing for Wakefield has been when they hit a slump, as every team does hit a slump, they hit a slump against at the time when they were playing teams that you'd be expected to win. If they'd have hit that slump and the fixtures had been Saints, Warrington, Wigan, then I think if they'd have played the teams that they'd lost to around them in the last 4 or 5 weeks, I think they'd have picked a lot more points up. I think just the timing of things. It's been a poor season without, and that's by you can't say anything else. But I look at it, Cass have only won 4 more games than Wakefield, and Cass are in the playoffs. I'm going to play in the playoffs this weekend. So, you look at the 2 games at London that they lost, and they shouldn't have lost. You look at the game at home against OKR, which they lost by 2 points, and a couple of other games that they've lost by 1-2 points.
Well,
and, it's a completely different season.
Arguably, those two London games, Wakefield didn't have a look in. I mean, obviously they went and they were leading halfway through the game, and then London just ended up beating them quite significantly. So I think you look at the other games like your Hull KR at home and 2 points, but a string of games where they lost them. So you'd look at them and think next year you pinpoint those games and those losses by the 2 points, 4 points, and see how you can improve in that area and game management as well, and picking up 2 points where they've lost them and where they could have won them this season.
Just on London, though, I think an absolute credit to them as a club, and Danny Ward came into the press conference after and were in great spirits and were talking, there wasn't any sign of bitterness or anything. It was just complete credit to Super League and Neil Reynolds, who does my job for London, absolutely throughout the game and afterwards. There were not a bad word said. It was just a credit to be around, and they've been a credit to Super League this year. And that now asks the question.
I'd love to see them come back. Like you said, Danny Ward's been fantastic all season, and I know they ended up getting relegated, but you were going in at the start of the season, and pundits and journalists were writing London off and had them bottom of the league without winning a single game. So to win the amount of games that they have and the support that they've had all season is just... I mean, they came out in numbers on Friday night at Wakefield. I mean, I didn't expect that many people to turn up from making the long journey up from London on a Friday night. But, like you said, they've been a credit to Super League, and I do hope that they find their way back at some point in the next couple of seasons.
Does Danny Ward stay at London next year? I think at this stage you've got to say yes, because
I do think
who's
so.
without a head coach in Super League? There's nobody really.
I think in the future he'll probably be scouted by a Super League club, and I think that's the least, given the job that he's done down in London. But I've read a few interviews, and it seems like he's quite happy down there doing that job that he's doing at the minute. He brought them up into Super League, and he'll want to carry on that role in the Championship until another club might come in for him, or until he gets them back up into Super League.
I heard on the grapevine a couple of months ago, and obviously this is complete nonsense now because Saints have appointed Christian Wolf. I heard that Ian Watson had an interview on giving him the job, which I think would have been a great appointment. Watson's been unbelievable for Salford. And then I heard that Salford were going to try and poach Danny Ward from London. Obviously that's not going to happen now, but yeah, they were the rumours at one point. I think Danny Ward's a great coach, and I can still see him in some capacity joining Leeds sometime soon. Maybe not this year.
I don't think so for a while. He might do in a year or so's time.
I
But
think he could. I think he could go be Richard Agar's assistant next year. Funny feeling.
I'm not sure because I think they've got that set up, haven't they, with Ryan Carr there and Richard Agar. That seems to have been working just fine for the past couple of weeks. Whether Ryan Carr will want to carry that on, but I'm sure Danny Ward will want to have some sort of coaching role in the Super League, whether that's with London again when they if they come back up. I'm sure that he'll want to stay there next season and see them back up into Super League.
Dave Smith next season will test Danny Ward's. Not sure it will because I think he's already proven that he's a top quality coach. He got London up when nobody expected him to be up. Yeah. And, you know, that's the squad they had compared to your likes of
compared to the Toronto in that £1 million
he got them up against the odds, and I know they've got relegated but they've been punching above the weight massively this year. So I think he's already proven that he's a top quality coach over a good 2 or 3 year period as well. I think if it can only get better. I get what you're saying. So next year, if he does get London promoted, then you think, oh God, he is a good coach. Yeah.
I mean, for me,
but I don't think next season will determine Danny Ward, and I don't think it should, and I don't think it's fair to assess Danny Ward on next season. London might lose a load of players and confidence might drop.
Well, they are out there because I mean, we know of a couple that are leaving, going to various clubs. But I think for me, the way that he's got his team playing together, they've not got the biggest budget in the world. We know that, and they're a team of good players, not your quality stars like your likes of Warrington and St Helens, but they've got that desire and they've got that team spirit that's seen them do so well this season. And I think for me, it's a different story now that they have been relegated, but if he had have kept them up, he would have been in contention for Coach of the Year, in my opinion. Yeah,
I agree. Ian Watson surely got that this
year.
I
agree. We can talk about that.
But just on London, and you said team spirit, epitomised, I think, by the fact that London had 2 players in the side that are joining Wakefield next year, and the way those 2 guys played, and they're spectacular, but the way that they were professional and tried the utmost, and I think one of the players who's joining Wakefield is probably London's best player. I think that just
I think that's in their best interest as well.
That's credit to Danny Ward and to London. It would have been easier if, in fact, it had been another coach at another club to maybe take him out of the firing line, maybe 3 or 4 weeks before the end of the season, and look at other options to think, oh, hang on a minute, this could.
But he had faith in them, didn't he?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, and I wouldn't like to be in a situation coaching a team with players in there who are joining the club that you're fighting relegation with. It's a funny one, isn't it? It is a real funny one. And I know players have been dropped before, and I'll take Lee Smith as an example. Wakefield were playing London in the £1 million Bradford in the £1 million game in 2015. Lee Smith got taken out of the firing line 3 or 4 weeks prior to that because he had already agreed a contract at Bradford for the next season. So credit to London and credit to Danny Ward and the 2 guys in question, that are joining Wakefield for being professional and doing the job.
There have been a clause in there that if either team got relegated, whether they'd stay there or I don't know. But it's like you said, it's good for. It just shows how they've been all season, really.
Well, we've just briefly touched up on Ian Watson at Salford. We'll have a chat about Salford for a couple of minutes because they've been unbelievable.
Whoever's watching, and if you're a fan of Super League and know what we're talking about, who would you give us your predictions for Coach of the Year? Because I certainly it's choice. Justin, he's done a fantastic job, and he's set a record to win the league 16 points clear. No other team has done that, but you would expect that from the team and the squad that St Helens have got and the way that they've played all season. However, for me, Salford, they're like your teams like Wakefield and Huddersfield and Castleford, and they've not got a massive budget to play with, but the squad that Ian Watson has put together, apart from your Jackson Hastings, you look at that team on paper, it's a decent squad, but there's no world beaters like the likes of Lachlan Coote and the St Helens team. But the way that they've played all season, and everybody, again, similar to London, had Salford finishing in the bottom 4, and they've beaten all the odds to finish 3rd in Super League with the squad that they've got is just phenomenal. And the way that Ian Watson's got them playing, and they all seem to be playing for him, he for me, has got to win Coach of the Year. I can't see anybody else apart from Justin Holbrook, but I think that would be a bit of a predictable outcome if Justin Holbrook got it.
I think I've been impressed most with Salford is the spine, and they lost Robert Louis at an important stage of the season, but managed to find a suitable replacement in Lollahea, who's been outstanding for him since going to Salford.
Arguably, they've played better since Lollahea came back in the squad. I mean, they've won 7-8 games on the bounce at the end of the season.
Well, yeah, but so that just the spine. Evalds in particular outstanding at fullback. Hastings at scrum half, who's just guided the team around the field. And then when you add Robert Louis as the maverick sort of player, I think Lollahea's a similar mould, isn't he?
Well,
and he's come in and just done a really good job.
Because we said at the start of the season that he wasn't really. I don't think he'd settled in at Leeds, and he couldn't find a position where he was comfortable. He didn't look comfortable at fullback. He didn't look comfortable in the halves. But he seems to have gone to Salford and found a new lease of life, and he's playing well within that spine with the likes of Jackson Hastings and Niall Evalds. They all seem to be working together.
It's something I've said for a while, and I keep harping on about it, and I will keep harping on about it. The combination of halfbacks, when he was playing with Richie Myler, he did that combination wasn't there. Neither one of those were an halfback that grabs a game by the scruff of its neck and controls it.
Yeah.
He moved to Salford, and he's got that with Hastings. Yeah. So that allows him just to say, right, Jackson, I'm having 5 minutes here, and I'm going to take control. I'm going to mix up and show some variation. I'm going to get in at first receiver, take the line off 5 minutes, just while you're plotting and just at the back. He never had that at Leeds. He's got that at Salford now as well here, and I'm sorry, but you don't play as many games in the NRL and for New Zealand. Samoa, sorry, whoever he played for, Tonga. Whoever.
Yeah.
If you've not got quality, so we know Lollahea has got quality, and that's all about. It's all about that relationship with your halfbacks.
And just finding your right position, and like you said, their partnership just seems to have worked. And we'll go on to Jackson Hastings in a minute, because he has been, for me, the standout player all season, both on and off the field. I think he's a credit to Salford and to Super League in general, and he is one of the 5 that has been shortlisted for the Man of Steel, along with Liam Watts, George Williams, Lachlan Coote and Blake Austin. Shall we break for a song and then discuss the Man of Steel nominations?
Yeah.
After the break, and we've also got a comment from David Smith. Thanks for tuning in, Dave. Joel Tompkins leaves Hull KR with 2 years of his contract still remaining. Says a lot for contracts. We shall discuss that as well after the first song.
Yeah, so you've chosen these tonight, Zoe?
I have. Is it Sam Fender first?
Yeah, we like him. His new album's come out, hasn't it?
And it's fantastic.
Yeah. So you listen to On the Whistle with Connor and Zoe live on Smile Radio. Don't forget, if you missed this show or any other show, you can go to our website, www.smileradio.co, click on demand, or download the podcasts from all the major podcasting sites, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, etc., etc. We'll be right back after Sam Fender.
Dutch kids hot balloons in the parking lot. The golden arches illuminate the business park. I eat myself to death, feed the corporate machine. I watch the movies, recite every line and scene. God bless America and all of its allies. I'm not the first to live with wool over my eyes. I am so blissfully unaware of everything. Kids in Gaza are bombed and I'm just out of it. Look, tensions of the world are rising higher. We're probably due another war with all desire. I'm not smart enough to change a thing. I have no answers, only questions. Don't you ask a thing. Oh, silver tongue suits and curtains that rule my world.
College Grove Nursery in Wakefield has been providing the highest standard of childcare for over 22 years. Situated on Eastmoor Road, we are close to the M1 and M62 motorway network and also convenient for Wakefield city centre, schools and major places of employment. For more details, check out our website at www.collegegrovenursery.co.uk or give us a call on 01924 200 120 to arrange a visit. College Grove, a special nursery which takes a hand, opens a mind and touches a heart.
Hello, we're back.
We're back. I've never heard that song.
I'm sure you have on the
Where
radio.
have you been, Maz?
I've never heard it.
He doesn't like popular music. He likes old songs.
How
like
can you accuse me not
Run Around
liking?
Sue.
How can you accuse me not liking popular music when I've never heard it?
He doesn't listen to it. He listens to Run Around Sue and.
But I've never heard
Old
it,
school.
so it's not by
Don't you have radio on at work?
it's not by choice. No, Scully don't let me.
Anyway, well, we're back with On the Whistle with Connor and Zoe live on Smile Radio. So, following up from where you left off, go on, Zoe, you were saying that you'd like to continue with Dave Smith's comment about Joel Tompkins.
Yes, we've just been reading up on it, haven't we? At the break, in the
Yeah,
break.
it's a strange one.
They've released leaving and. But
He's asked to be released.
yes, on
and
compassionate
they've
grounds.
granted that, so he's been released on compassionate grounds. I'm not quite sure what. It's a strange one because I'm reading his quotes, and in his quotes he says,
He's ready
"Now's the
for a
time
new
for a new
challenge."
chapter and a new challenge." And I'm thinking to myself, would that be something you say? Adulate, but obviously, that something might have gone on. You don't know, so it's hard to really comment on that one. But what I will say is, it's not a great loss to OKR. I don't think. I think
it's
he's
I think it's caused them
I think
more.
at 32 years of
It's
age,
caused
his
them
best
more
days are
hassle
behind him. And
than what he's caused good. I think this season. They'll be able to replace him. I think. He's the club captain, isn't he? But they'll be able to. Look at somebody else in the off season and see who that will be best fit to replace him. But Dave, I don't know what to really more to say about that.
no,
Joel Tompkins leaving. But we'll move on to Man of Steel. We obviously mentioned that before the break. There's a short list of 5. There's been voting throughout the season, hasn't there? And then they closed the voting, so we couldn't see who was at the top of the leaderboard, and it's been announced today that Blake Austin, Lachlan Coote, Liam Watts, Jackson Hastings and George Williams make up the final 5 to go into the Man of Steel award at the end of the season.
we've got dream team to discuss as well. We'll have to come on to that and give
Yes.
us at some point. But just on Man of Steel, I think I can only see it being 2 of those 5. I can only see it being either Austin or Hastings. I can't see.
I agree.
I can't
yes.
say Lachlan Coote has missed quite a fair few games.
Yeah, as has Liam Watts has missed a few as well.
Liam
and
Watts has been great for Cast, but I don't think he's quite. He started the season in fantastic form. I just think his performances have dropped a little bit, but he's still been good. But Man of Steel, I'm not quite sure. And George Williams, I'm not too sure about that one. I think he's another one who's inconsistent, can be a world beater on his day and look devastating on that left edge. But has he done it enough for large periods this season? I don't think so. So for me, between Austin or Hastings, and
I agree.
towards
Wigan have finished the season spectacularly well, but you've got to remember at the start of the season as well, they were down in near the bottom and they weren't playing very well at all. And I think George Williams, like you said, he's a fantastic player on his day, but is he Man of Steel material and does he do it enough? Probably not for me. Whereas you look at the likes of Jackson Hastings and Blake Austin. Jackson Hastings, I think, has played nearly every single game, hasn't he, this year? Blake Austin's missed a few via injury, but I still think he's been a fantastic addition to Warrington's squad, and I think next year when Gareth Widdock comes in, they'll be unstoppable, Will Warrington, next year.
That'll bring me on to a conversation and argument for another time. That.
But for me, I think Jackson Hastings just edges it. I'd love to see him win it. Someone from Salford, like we said, they've had a fantastic season, and I think it'll be just rewards. Obviously, he's leaving Salford at the end of the year, going to Wigan next season. where he'll do a fantastic job as well. But I hope he sort of caps off his year because he has been fantastic all season, and I hope he gets it.
Either for me. I think Austin or Hastings. You can't. If it were Austin, I wouldn't argue. I'd like it to be Hastings just for the fact that he's done it with a not so popular side and probably done it consistently a bit more than Austin. But having said that, when Austin's been on and on, he's been the best player in the league by far, by an absolute distance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, either. I'm leaning towards Hastings, but I wouldn't have a grudge or hold a grudge if it were Austin because I think he's been great as well this year.
Yes, I agree.
Dream team. Now I know you've just said you've gone on about Wigan only playing so well at some stage of the season and Williams being in that, but Liam Farrell's played 13 games this year and got in the dream team. 13 out of 29.
Yes.
And got in dream team. How's that happen? Don't get me wrong, Liam Farrell's done well in those 13 games. But even in those 13 games, I think he's probably only had 5 really good games.
Yeah.
I think that's a silly one. Does that tell you the lack of quality we've got in the second row? Dave, what's your thoughts on this? What do you reckon? Liam Farrell in on 13 games?
Well, I think, going on to your point that you've just made there, does it mean that there is a lack of quality in the second row? I've been thinking to myself, who else would you... I mean, we were discussing it off air a couple of days ago when the Dream Team got announced. Who else would you put in place of Liam Farrell?
Zeb Taylor at Saints.
Yep.
Peru at Saints.
Yep.
Jack Hughes at Warrington.
Yeah, see, that surprises me because I rate Jack Hughes massively and I think he's had a really good season.
Jack Hughes at Warrington.
Until he ruptured his testicle.
I think... Ouch.
Yeah. It was a nasty injury, but he came back from that and played in the Challenge Cup final. And he had an outstanding game in that as well. So I'd have probably, picked Jack Hughes.
But I just think Liam Farrell for 13 games and he gets in. I'm trying to think of other second rowers that could have got in there. Sorry. And
who's the other one that?
Josh Jones.
That's it. I
so
couldn't for the life of me
Jones
think
has got in, and rightly so. But yeah, I'm struggling really to find. But I just think there's a few more that probably get that over Liam Farrell. So the dream team, Lachlan Coote, I think, it's one of them. A lot of people are sort of saying why never, but there has been a fair few fullbacks that have been really good this year.
Yeah, that's
so
the only other other one that I would have possibly given it to in place of Lachlan Coote would have been Niall Evans, purely because he scored so. I mean, I think Ash Hanley just pipped him to the post on top try scorer, but he scored so many tries this season, and he's played, like we've touched upon earlier, played really well on that spine with Jackson Hastings and Lola Haya, so he would have been the only other option for me.
I think as an outsider, maybe Ratchford.
I was just about to say Ratchford as well.
Wingers, Handley and Makinson, I think they're fair enough then.
Yeah.
I think Ash Handley's been good in a poor side.
Ash Handley's been good in a poor side, again up there amongst the top try scorers.
Yep.
And Makinson, you can't argue with that. I mean, he won Golden Boot at the World Cup, didn't he? And scored some fantastic tries this season for St Helens. So
Centres, Nagama and
I don't think you can argue with those two wingers.
No, Centres, Nagama and Harrell. I don't think Harrell will... He's been great on his day.
Dave Smith says Farrell not good enough to be in Dream Team, even if he had played all 29 games. A better second row forwards about. I would agree with you there, Dave.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, definitely. Conrad Harrell in there. I think if he'd have played another one, if Conrad Harrell had played 29 games at the standard that he can play, he'd have been in that Dream Team.
Very.
He hasn't done it enough.
Yeah.
He hasn't done it enough. I think I can count on one hand the games where Conrad Harrell's been the best player on the pitch for Leeds. He doesn't do it enough, and I don't think he's great defensively either. So that's.
I don't think you can argue with Nagama being in there.
No, Nagama just for his pure involvement in tries as well.
Yeah, and it's his first season in Super League, and he's just been fantastic. But Conrad Hurrell.
In terms of centres, I think have done a better job than Hurrell. I think I think Josh Griffin at Hull's had a really good year. Perhaps unlucky to miss out. Hull have been a mid-table
But again,
side, and
again,
but Josh Griffin's
hit and
been really
miss,
good.
yeah.
No, I think he's been pretty consistent. Griffin this year, I think he's probably been Hull's most consistent player. You've got Toby Kinno, I think's had a good season at Warrington. I think Gildart has had a solid season. Trying to think who else really in that centre. Somebody, Mark Flanagan, said on one of the podcasts on Super League that Chris Wellham is an outside shot, and I tell you what, at first I thought, oh, the hell, but his involvement in tries with assists and his try, he's been great on that right edge for Salford. I just think there's been a lot more better players than Hurrell. Halfbacks, Austin and Hastings.
That was always gonna be the case, wasn't
Johnny
it?
Lomax a little bit unlucky to miss out, but having said that, where do you fit him in?
You don't.
You
I
know,
think. Yeah, he's had a good season for St Helens, and he's played really well in those halves. But you've got to go with Hastings and Austin. They've been the two best halfbacks in the league by far this year. I think Jackson Hastings, for the sole fact, I know we've touched upon it earlier, that he's played some great rugby in a Salford side that everybody thought would finish in the bottom four. Obviously, they've proved everybody wrong and finished in the top three. And Blake Austin, just for sheer brilliance. I don't think you can argue.
Yeah, the front row, I tipped this front row, Watts, Clark and Thompson.
Yeah, I think we both said that before the Dream Team came out.
I think Darryl Clark is unlucky not to be in the Man of Steel top 5 for me.
Yes.
I think Darryl Clark is an unbelievable player. And for me, if I'm to pick a...
It's difficult though, isn't it?
Because it's done on that thing now, isn't it?
It's done on throughout the season, and who gets the most points in what game.
But if you'd have said to me, pick a three
I would have had
to be in a
Darryl,
shortlist, I'd have gone Austin, Hastings and Clark as
I would
my
have
three.
had Darryl Clark above George Williams in that top 5, but...
Yeah,
what,
there we go.
What do we know?
Yeah, great season.
But yeah, that you can't argue. I mean, Luke Thompson is just getting better and better at
Do you
St
think he'll
Helens.
go to the NRL at some point with Justin Albrook?
Thompson, but he's still young, isn't he? I mean, you look at him and you think he looks, no disrespect to him, but he looks a lot older than he is.
I think it's the perfect time for him to go.
He's at that age where he's still young. I think is he only 21, 22? So I mean,
I think it's perfect.
and historically, prop forwards the forwards have done well when they've gone over to Australia. Young, you like the Burgess brothers, how well they've done when they've gone over. So, Justin Holbrook, he's going over at the end of the year to coach Gold Coast Titans, who have had an absolutely dreadful season. So we'll be looking to have a full overhaul of players. So if that means there's a place for Thompson when his contract ends, I don't know when that is, but yeah, it'll be a perfect time for him to go.
What's worst case scenario for Thompson? He goes, he doesn't quite cut it, comes back and has a choice of any Super League club, probably ends up back at Saints.
Exactly.
And picks up, I think, go.
Yeah.
Just go. Your rugby career's short. You don't know what's around the corner. Get yourself off for a few years. If it's not for you, come back. 'Cause you've got the
George
choice.
Williams has got the right idea,
got
hasn't he?
years on your side.
He's going over there at the end of the year to join Canberra along with the
rest of them,
the other English imports.
Just one more that we've not touched upon on that dream team, and one that probably nobody can argue with. Morgan Knowles at loose forward, but I think loose forward is a funny position to pick somebody for the dream team because there's not any natural loose. There's three natural loose forwards in Super League. O'Loughlin's a natural loose forward, could never play another position. Westerman is a natural loose forward,
and Morgan Knowles.
And Morgan Knowles as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe Adam Miller at Cass, but
he's
can't even get in anymore, can he?
It's a tough position, I think, to pick someone for, because when we did our sort of dream team halfway through the season on the radio, you're just thinking because so many players swap and change. You've got different players playing at loose forward every week.
I know for a fact that Super League coaches don't even say the word loose, they just say middle. So you've got 3 middles, so essentially 3 props, and your lightest of the 3 will be named as a loose forward. But it's not a loose forward, it's not a specialist position anymore, unless there's different teams that have it like that. And a lot of clubs now just have an extra back row. It depends how they play. An extra middle as an extra prop, or an extra back rower. to play along that middle section. So it's not a specialist position. You don't have specialist loose forwards anymore, which is a shame. There's only a couple.
Yeah.
There's only a couple in there, isn't there?
And Morgan Knowles probably tops that list of 2 or 3 or 4 that are in Super League right now. I mean, can't argue with league leaders. I mean, I thought they'd have a lot more players in that dream team than that are there. What you've got: Coots, Nagama, Thompson, and
I thought they'd have one of the back rowers because I think both Taylor and Peru have been really good this year.
I put Taylor in my dream team halfway through the season because I've been really impressed with him all season, especially in that game against Wakefield in the Challenge Cup quarterfinals. So, yeah, I would have expected either one of them to be in, but I mean, you can't really grumble with rest at selections, though, can you? That's what I'm saying. Exactly. So I think the selection, apart from maybe Liam Farrell and Conrad Hurrell, the others are spot on, in my opinion. Yeah, you can't really grumble. I know a lot of Saints fans are saying Regan Gray should be in there, but Regan Gray's had a good season, but has he had a better season than Ash Handley? No, because if you're comparing the two, yeah, both young, similar players, but would Ash Handley scored more tries at St Helens than Regan Grace has this year? Yes, it would have done. I think he probably would have done, yeah. Well, he scored. He's near top try scorer in a poor Leeds side that have finished. I can't remember where they finished 7th or 8th or wherever they did. 8th, just one place with work. And he's still been near top try scorer, or I can't remember who's top of the try scoring charts. He might well be, and that's in a half decent Leeds side. So imagine the tries that he could have scored for St Helens if he was in their side. Thompson would fit in well in the Australia game. Yeah, I agree completely. I'd get him over now. Playoffs this weekend. Should we break for another song? And go on. We'll break for another song. Yeah. How long have we got left?
We've got 20 minutes left.
Lovely. Right. Well, we'll do that and we'll go on to playoffs.
So we've got a bit of a cheering. And
Khalid, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. A bit of mental block there, but sat here enjoying my cruise. So you listen to Collins, are we live on Smile Radio? We'll be right back after a bit of Ed. Shabba.
Saturday night in the summer, sundown and they all come out. Lamborghinis and they rented Hummers. The party's on, so they're heading downtown. Everybody's looking for a come up, and they wanna know what you're about. Me in the middle with the one I love it. We're just trying to figure everything out. We don't fit in well, 'cause we are just ourselves. I could use some help getting out of this conversation. You look stunning, dear, so don't ask that question here. This is my only fear, that we become beautiful people. Top designer clothes, front row at fashion shows. What you do and who'd you know? Inside the world of beautiful people. Champagne and rolled up nose, prenups and broken homes. Surrounded but still alone. Let's leave the party. That's not who we are. We are not beautiful. Yeah, that's not who we are. We are not beautiful. Drove for hours last night and we made it nowhere. I see stars in your eyes when we're halfway there. I'm not fazed by all the lights and flashy cameras. 'Cause with my arms around you, there's no need to care. We don't fit in well, we are just ourselves. I could use some help getting out of this conversation here. You look stunning, please, so don't ask that question here. This is my only fear, that we become beautiful people. Top designer clothes, front row at fashion shows. What you do and who'd you know?
If you're looking for custom-made curtains and blinds, get yourself down to the Curtain Shop. Visit our showrooms at Kingsway Ossett or High Street Normanton. For all your curtains, blinds and upholstery needs, go to the Curtain Shop. And if you mention Smile Radio, you'll qualify for free lining for all custom-made curtains. The Curtain Shop, Kingsway Ossett and High Street Normanton. The Curtain Shop.
We're back.
Hello.
We're back. Dave Smith left a comment just before we broke up. Said, the role of 13 has changed due to the role now played by your 1, and agree the 13 is now used more as an extra running forward. Yeah, I think teams that play with a ball handling loose forward generally have running fullbacks.
Yeah.
Pick Hull, for example, they've got Westerman as a ball running forward, loose forward, and Jamie Shaw's a runner. Other clubs that play an extra prop at loose forward, they have ball playing fullbacks that are essentially standoffs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with that. Must have to compliment Featherstone Rovers for their win at Lee in the playoffs. If defence can win you a game, then this is the one.
Yes, well, we watched
I thought
it,
they were
didn't we?
outstanding.
We watched that, didn't we, on Sunday evening?
Yeah.
They played really well. Just from the moment that it kicked off, I think they seemed more up for it than Lee. Lee threatened a few times, but the way that they just managed the game perfectly well, didn't they?
They managed the game perfectly well, and they've got the right balance across the spine. Ashton Golden at fullback.
He had an outstanding game, did Ashton Golden?
I think the halfbacks. Again, that variation, that combination. Dane Chisholm's the guy, the go-to runner of the ball.
Well, how good has he been since
the
he signed?
elusive, off-the-cuff player. Callum McClelland, for a young guy, looked as if he'd been playing the game for 10, 15 years. His kicking game was perfect. He finds a flaw with his kicks. Even from deep, he finds a flaw every time. And he even took the line on at times when they expected him just to kick the ball or maybe hand it on. So that balance, that mixture, that variation in the halfbacks,
that inside ball was just working for them perfectly, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I thought that Harrison played really well for Fev. I thought he were great, an unsung hero in that Fev side. And the forwards did the hard yards as well. And I think Fev have got an improvement in them as well. I think Cameron King didn't play, who's been a lethal weapon for him out of dummy half. So he's to come back in at the weekend. So that adds a different dimension. It allows Connor Jones to go back onto the bench and come on and have some zip at dummy half. So
it'll be an interesting one against York on
and Jack Bussey as well. He's another player who's back fit this weekend. But having said that, do they run the risk if they bring in Cameron King and Jack Bussey, both ball handlers, both like to be involved with the ball? Do they run the risk of over-complicating it?
I think
will
so.
it just add a different edge?
It's a good question. I don't know. I think you've got the team. Well, obviously the team that played so well at the weekend. Do you then bring in? I mean, if Cameron King's fit, you bring him in and he plays. I think for me,
I think if Bussey's fit, Bussey starts at loose forward.
But then the team that played at the weekend played so well. Why would you mess around with that?
Yeah, I know. I agree.
So it's a difficult one for Ryan Carr because they got it absolutely spot on Sunday. They barely made a mistake, and over Lee scored a few soft tries. But apart from that, and if they fix that up, then they won't go far wrong against York. York had a trip to Toulouse and they really struggled. I've been really impressed with York this season. James Ford's another coach that I've admired, and the way that they've played all season, but they really struggled, and I think Toulouse are another team that can give Toronto a run for the money, because Toulouse are the only team that have beaten Toronto all season. So I think on their day, Toulouse can be fantastic as well. So York went there and really struggled, and then obviously they'll have had to deal with coming back and the journey back, and they've had to play in that heat in Toulouse on the weekend. So it'll be a tough one for them coming back on Saturday. They're playing at home, obviously, at Bootham Crescent, but I just think it'll be a tough one. It's all set to be a fantastic game.
So just to clear it up, the loser of Featherstone and York is eliminated. They bow out. The winner will face the loser of Toronto and Toulouse.
Yeah, and that's on Sunday at 6:30.
So I think I'm going to predict that Featherstone will travel to Toulouse. I think Fev will beat York this week. York will bow out, and great season for York, really good season. Only just promoted from League One, let's not forget. So to come this far has been unbelievable. They'll look to go one step further next year, I'm sure.
They've still got progression in them, haven't they? I mean, we keep forgetting that they only got promoted from League One last year.
Yeah.
And to finish third in the Championship against the likes of your teams of Lee and Featherstone that have been so good for so many years in that at that Championship level, for York to even compete against them, nobody expected that at the start of the season. So they've had a fantastic year. Whether they bow out on Saturday or they go on to play Toronto or Toulouse in the playoff final, they've got, like I said, they've got progression in them, and they'll look to go one step further next year and win the final. But I do think that Featherstone, for me, I'd like Featherstone to win, but I think they will win on Saturday, and then it's just a case of whether Toronto or Toulouse. You'd say Toronto, but I'd love Toulouse to win.
Well, so you'd expect Featherstone to travel to Toulouse.
Toronto.
No, I'd expect to play Toulouse, wouldn't they? Toronto final.
No, because Toronto are playing Toulouse on Sunday.
Yeah. So if Featherstone play the loser.
Oh, yeah, and then Toronto
And
go.
then
Yeah.
Toronto.
Sorry.
Toronto have got to buy to the final.
Yeah.
So Toulouse get another shot, that's what I'm saying. If
Yeah.
Because they won against York, they get that other shot.
Yes,
So,
it's all...
So yeah, so
very
I think for me, Fev get that win at York. They'll play Toulouse. Who knows? I think I'd fancy a Toulouse-Toronto final, if I'm being honest.
I watched bits of the Toulouse-York game and saw some of the highlights as well, and some of the play that Toulouse were pulling off was just, York weren't great, but Toulouse just looked really good, and they've shown signs all season when they're on it. They can beat anybody in that league. So, yeah, for me, I think Featherstone will beat York on Saturday, and then they'll go into next week against Toulouse. So, if, say, on Sunday Toronto lost against Toulouse, Toulouse would get a bye into the final, and Featherstone would have to play Toronto.
Yeah, the loser plays the winner of York and Fev.
Yeah.
And the winner gets a bite at
We've got Rob Murray on Facebook Live. Thanks for tuning in, Rob. What do you make of Elstone's comments that Toronto may not get promoted even if they win the grand final?
Yeah, I think they've still got sort of loopholes to jump through. I don't know whether it's just contractual stuff or I'm not too sure, to be honest. I saw it briefly but I've not kind of read it or read too much into it, to be honest. I don't know what would happen if that was the case.
If Toronto don't, if they don't end up, if they win the league and don't end up getting promoted for one reason or another, what happens then, do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't
do you
know
reckon
whether
London stay up, or do you reckon it goes to the team that finishes second, that the runners up?
I don't know. It's a difficult one, isn't it? So I'm not sure what would happen, but he has confirmed that they'll keep the loop fixtures next year, which, that's a whole other subject that we can talk about in the coming weeks. We'll have lots to talk about once the season's over. But for me, if that was to happen, or just in general, even if Toronto can go up, I would like to see Super League extended to 14 teams, personally. And then you get rid of these silly loop fixtures because Wakefield have played London 3 times this year. You don't want to see that. And then if you win the Challenge Cup as well, there's a danger of you playing each other.
Yeah, 4 times.
Exactly. So I think, for me, we'll discuss that in the next couple of shows.
Yeah,
but for me, I would personally extend. Make Super League
I'd have 14
bigger
teams. I'd have kept London in this year. I'd have brought Toronto up, and I'd have brought the runner-up in the Championship up. Toronto, because they finished top and blitzed the league.
Yeah.
And they have done for the last 2 years, and then
you have a playoff to see who
else
would come up.
Between the rest of them. Yeah, it'd be 14 for me.
Yeah.
And,
but we can we'll go into that, shall we?
Don't be surprised if it's not.
Yeah.
I'm telling
There's
you now.
There's still a lot of changes to come.
I'm telling you now. But I will not be surprised if there's a statement that comes out once the season's finished that states London Broncos will stay in Super League in 2020. Toronto will come up. and so will the other finalist.
Yeah.
Do you think genuinely that could happen?
I think
think it-
probably not, but it won't surprise me because I think
think
that's
anything-
the
I
way
think
to go
it'd be
with the
good,
next
though.
few years.
I think that'd be
I
good
do.
for the league. Definitely.
Anything could happen, and I think it'd just be so much better. I mean, we can talk about it in coming shows, but I just think it'd be. I mean, I personally would much rather go back to you play a team twice, once home, once away, and then obviously whenever you've got Challenge Cup, you play whoever. I've not been a fan of these loop fixtures this year, and obviously Wakefield have played London twice away and once at home. They played Huddersfield last year 4 times.
Certain teams
It's-
get more of an advantage, and that's
Exactly.
the same with Magic Weekend. If you take away the Magic Weekend fixtures, London survive, Huddersfield are relegated.
Exactly.
There you go.
Well, Huddersfield won it Magic Weekend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you take away the Magic Weekend fixtures.
Well, oh yeah,
Huddersfield are
true.
down.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's just I mean, that would be my personal opinion, but that's another discussion for another day.
I agree.
Well, so I hope it happens. I hope it happens in the close season and mixes it up a little bit.
So yeah, I mean, they brought in a load of changes at the start of last season, didn't they? With the Golden Point, they've announced that that's staying on for another season at least. You need changes every so often, don't you, just to keep it
What we need to
keep
do,
it interesting.
there's too many changes at the minute. I think we need to, after this, we need to say, right, 14 teams.
Yeah,
Boom.
that's it.
Because you know they brought in this middle eights and £1 million game, and this made out this were going to be the long serving, but that only lasted 3 years, and they got rid of it. So they need some stability, and for me, bring 14 in, keep it 14 for. And if you want to do 1 up, 1 down, do 1 up, 1 down. But
I think you still need to keep the 1 up, 1 down, because I think the middle eights, it added excitement and what have you. But this year has been just as exciting as last year, and I think you need that promotion and relegation. Worst team in the Super League goes down, best team in the Championship goes up. It's as simple as that, and then you play off for the grand final. But I would like to see 14 teams.
yeah, I agree. Me too. 14. Have we got a comment there?
Yeah, Rob makes a mockery of the whole league system for me. Agree with the 14 teams, but surely the worst Super League gets relegated from the best Championship team gets promoted.
Oh yeah, that's never in
100%.
question.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
never in question.
Yeah.
Yeah, we agree with that.
I think it's daft that.
But then it's just, if there was to be 14 teams, there's got to be some changes.
So Toronto, listen to this, right? Toronto have lost 3 games in 2 years, right? And they could still not go up this year. London beat them in the £1 million game last year, but they could still not go up. They could still be in the Championship next year.
It's wrong.
It's
isn't
crazy, isn't it? And you could have a team go up in Featherstone that have lost 20 games in 2 years, and they could go up.
it?
Bizarre, but there you
But
go.
I guess that's the case with. Oh no, never mind. I was gonna say
were gonna
something stupid then,
Yeah,
but
well,
What?
we'll
Like
end
I
on that
love
now.
you.
yeah.
Gonna spoil it all by saying something stupid like I love you.
I love you.
I'll just entertain myself. So that's just about it then,
Yeah.
kids.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for interacting and talking to us. And
Yeah, thanks for everybody on Facebook Live. And don't
Yes.
forget, if you want to catch this show, you can go to, or if you've missed this or catch any other show, go to our website, www.smileradio.co. Click on demand or download the podcast from Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, and all the major podcasting sites. I've been Rich.
I've been Connor.
I've been Zoe.
So thanks again, guys, and thanks for tuning in. And don't forget, stay tuned for the rest of the shows for the rest of the week.
Yeah,
Au revoir.
and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Ta-ta for now.
TTFN.
From a run around Sue, yeah. My miss her lips and a smile on her face. The touch of her hand and this girl's warm embrace. So if you don't wanna cry like I do, I'll keep away from a run around Sue. Whoa. She likes to travel around, yeah. She love you and she'll put you down. Now people let me put you wise. Sue goes out with other guys. Here's the moral and the story from the guy who knows. away from a runaround